Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Mac, and today we're talking about my UI setup. I've gotten a lot of comments recently about, how I set up my UI, what add-ons I'm using, and all that good stuff, and I figured I'd just make a new video about it, just to get it out of the way and show you guys what add-ons I'm using, give you the links, everything you need, and to set it up how you want your UI to look. Now, before I get too deep into any specifics for the add-ons I'm using, just so you are aware, everything you see on my screen right here, from my unit frames to my party frames to my damage meters to my nameplates, it's all in a larger Google document linked in the description below, alongside the download link and the import string that you can use to make your UI look exactly like this. The one caveat, or the one thing you need to be aware of though, if you are going to be trying to import my UI as it exactly is currently, you need to import both the Blizzard Cooldown Manager and my Blizzard Edit Mode strings as well. If you don't do that, it'll look kind of janky. I think it's because there's different scalings between the add-ons and the Blizzard default UI setup. So if you want to just make sure UI looks exactly like mine, just import everything you see on the screen there, or on the Google Doc there, and it'll look exactly like this. With that out of the way, let's jump into the actual add-ons I'm using. Starting with arguably the most important one in my opinion, it's going to be the Cooldown Manager. You can see here, it pretty much looks like my basic Blizzard Cooldown Manager. I made it to try to imitate what Weak Wars was in previous expansions with the War Within and before that. It's a little bit limiting, but, I'm working with what I have here. You might also notice that I have it adjusted a little bit differently, where I have my utility options here. I have a trinket option over here, which aren't part of the Blizzard Cooldown Manager default options. That's because I'm using the add-on Better Cooldown Manager, where effectively it splits all of those things up into its own little sections. It's effectively a skin for your Cooldown Manager, where you don't have many super crazy customization options, but you do have the option to move your utilities over here. And you can see if I go over to my essentials, it'll open up my Blizzard Cooldown Manager. If I go to utility, it'll show all of my utilities and it'll highlight it all with a little box. I can adjust the size, the icon size, if I want it to be bigger, smaller, however I want it to look. I can move the offset to be wherever I want it to be. It's very basic and simplistic in what it is and what it can do, but just the fact that I can move this around wherever I want it to be makes it so much nicer. Previously, in my old weak auras, I used to have my defensives on my left and my utilities on my right. Unfortunately, it's all in one big block now, so I can't separate this by type of button it is. Like, you can see my Astral Shift and my Earth Elemental are clocked in with my Spirit Walker's Grace and my Cap Totem and stuff. So I can't separate them based on what I want them to, be separated by. But it does a better idea, or a better job of separating it from this big block of just boxes that was the original Cooldown Manager. Plus, it has the added benefit of having your trinkets on here as well. So, if I wanted to use my trinket, I can click my trinket, it's on cooldown, just like you would expect any sort of add-on weak aura, anything like that to work. As you can see, I'm just going to go through some of my basic rotation here. It's working just like the Cooldown Manager is. It has this power bar in there as well, so I don't have to install a new power bar or aura bar for my Maelstrom generation tracking. It works exactly like it would a weak aura, although it doesn't have the predictive Maelstrom generation like you would have in the previous expansions weak auras, but for what it's worth, or for what we have access to right now, it's pretty good. Alright, the next add-on, in probably order of importance here, is going to be my nameplate add-on for Platynator, which is, you can see I have all of my nameplates here that are slightly better or different than the Blizzard default ones, because the Blizzard default ones are pretty much unacceptable in my opinion. And this is how I got all of these nameplates to look like they do here. If I wanted to pop on some debuffs, there's my Flame Shock. If I wanted to go ahead and throw on a Lightning Rod or two, I could drop an Earthquake. You can see it does a good job of tracking all of those, and I can adjust it all as I see fit. In order to do that, I type /Platy or Platynator, and this is the add-on options here. Now, it's super simple to use, which is why I like Platynator over the others. I haven't really decided if I want to use Plater yet or Platynator, but I've been using Platynator and enjoying it a lot because of how simplistic it is to adjust. If I go to Designer, I can choose and move around and pretty much adjust everything about the nameplate. So if I wanted to adjust my... Actually, let me change the style to let's just change it to custom, just because I don't want to adjust or screw up my old one. But if I wanted to adjust my debuffs, I can change the click on it, and I can change the scaling. I can change the text size to be bigger, smaller. I can show a countdown on it. I can have it sorted by duration or by Blizzard's base duration. I can filter it as well if I wanted to, which is really important that you have this checked for you, because if you don't have this, there's way too many debuffs to track on an enemy, which makes it impossible to see your own, so just make sure you check that. But it's as simple as clicking an aura you want to adjust and adjusting it. If you click a section that has multiple auras on it or multiple layers, like right here, I'll click on this name. You can see I have the text being the creature's name, I have the highlight for the mouse over, I have the bar itself being the health bar, and I have the highlighted option. And if you wanted to adjust any of those, you can choose one of those and adjust anything you want about it. And that's really all it is. I can animate it, I can turn on different textures, I can move things around. I can even want to put this debuff bar right in front of everything and put it on top. Easy. I can make the scale massive, and now if I put Flame Shock on the target, there's my Flame Shock. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you have the option to do that if you wanted to. So it's very easy to adjust however you want to have it set up. Probably, actually, two of the most important things I should talk about is what you just saw there with the pandemic window, where if I cast Flame Shock on a target, the pandemic window will automatically glow those debuffs that will alert me, showing me that I should probably re-up those because of the pandemic window being active. Pretty much all you have to do for that is you click on your debuff here, and you just check the show pandemic window. So it's a really cool indication if you're a class that has dots, like a Shadow Priest or a Warlock or something like that. But arguably the most important part of Platynator here is going to be the nameplate color. Now, Blizzard has said that they don't want nameplates being colored a certain color because they want you to learn the dungeon rather than having an add-on tell you, oh, this isn't a priority ad you need to interrupt. Now, I don't know if this is going to work going forward, but as it stands for now, Platynator does allow you to color the name of a bar if it has mana. So it's not a 100% foolproof method of determining, okay, this person has an important cast, but it is a 85% accurate way to determine if a mob is going to have a cast associated with it. And all you have to do for that is you go click on the option for bars health, and you go to colors, I believe. Yep. And you can see here class colors. Now, if you were just loading this for the first time, I believe class colors is way down here. You just want to make sure it's thrown all the way to the top here. And what this will do is it will overwrite everything. So if a bar or a mob has mana, it will color it as a different color than the rest of the mobs. Like I said, it's not a perfect system. It is about 85-ish% accurate. Sometimes there are mobs that don't have mana that will still cast something, and sometimes there's mobs that do have mana that don't cast anything. It's just a good indicator for you to be aware about things that you should be looking at on your screen. Alright, the next add-on I'm going to talk about is going to be my party frames down here. And this is Danders Frames. Now, in the patch expansion, I was a cell enjoyer, but when Blizzard announced they were going to be adjusting how healing party frames worked, it was really, really rough to find a replacement for cell. Luckily, Blizzard, I think at the time of recording this video, maybe a day or two ago, just announced that they're going to be removing healer secrets from the party frames, so we'll be able to do cool things like we were able to do in Cell before. But for now, I'm using Danders Frames. That might change going forward. I'm not super sure. We'll figure it out. I'll let you know when it happens. But effectively, it's pretty much what you would expect from a party frames add-on. You can type /df, and you can adjust everything you want about it. I'm not going to go too deep into details about how to adjust the size of it and the resource bar, because really the only real important thing here is that I need is my bindings option. If I go to binds, this is effectively click casting, and actually I'm in elemental right now, so let me go back to restoration and it'll show you what it looks like with an actual healing spec. But if I'm now in my Danders Frames options, we can see I have all of my different buttons and click casting here. So my left click is my Riptide, my shift click is my Chain Heal, my shift alt click is my Healing Wave, my right click is my Unleash Life. You know, it's exactly what you expect from some sort of healing add-on that you would have in the past. And actually, just to quickly show you what Danders Frames can do for at least tracking everything, I'm in my test mode here, and I can show you what things look like. If there's a heal absorb on a target, that's what the heal absorb would look like. If there's an out of range indicator, that's what it looks like. It opaques the party member who's out of range. I can click on defensives. It will show me their defensives that are currently running on a target. If there's a spell or a spellcaster that is currently targeting an ally, you can have it showcase you on the frame as well, so you can be prepared for that incoming hit of damage on the target. Arguably my most important and most favorite thing about this add-on. Danders Frames is a fantastic replacement for anything we've used in the past. Although, like I mentioned, with the loosening of the restrictions, I imagine that other add-ons like Cell are going to come back into popularity, but who knows? For now, Danders Frames is a great addition to my add-ons. But those are all really the important add-ons I have that kind of make up the bulk of my UI. I'll talk about also the smaller ones that are really just like quality of life buffs for me, being firstly the unhalted unit frames. I used to have shadowed unit frames. I don't like the Blizzard default ones. I think they just look ugly. I really like clean minimalistic bars, and that's what my target frame and my player frame here is. If I type /UUF, I can change the size of everything, adjust it. I can see the cast bars, the power bars, the heal predictions, all that good stuff. I'm really just using this basically as a base skin to make my unit player frames and target frames look really nice and neat. It's not super important, but I like the kind of clean nature of this. Aside from that, I also have Bartender, which is everything you see down here. All of my bars kind of shrunk down into the very bottom. Usually I would hide these, but generally I like to have them at least a little bit on my screen so I can adjust them as I see fit. Because I'm always moving trinkets and stuff like that, and I don't want to have to adjust the opacity. It just makes it easier for me to, move everything around very quickly and easily. Over here, I have my details add-on, which is simply just details. I have my current fight, I have my overall damage fight, and I have my healing done because I'm a raid leader and I like to see things that I don't necessarily need to see. And then finally, arguably the most important mini add-on that I have is this little guy right here, Minimap Button. Probably the best add-on you'll ever install because it takes all those stupid little buttons around your minimap and just puts them all in one little simple button. But I think that's everything I wanted to touch upon today, and before I end the video, just a quick reminder, all the import strings, download links are down in the description below for you to just pull quickly and get your UI set up perfectly as you see fit. And final call out, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and like the video, and if you're really invested, make sure you go ahead and join our Discord. It's recently got a massive influx of people because of a video doing really well that I wasn't expecting. So if you ever want to join the discussion there, I talk to new viewers, I talk to people about different video ideas and stuff like that. So if you wanted to just jump in and say, hey, the link's in the description below, everything is in that link tree, so anything interesting can be found there. But with that being said, thank you as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.